The football world is in shock. After nearly a decade of dominance, trophies and billions flowing through the blue side of Manchester, Pep Guardiola is reportedly preparing to leave Manchester City, and the man expected to replace him is none other than Enzo Maresca. Reports suggest Maresca has agreed to a 3-year contract to become the new manager at the Etihad Stadium, marking the beginning of a completely new financial and football era for Manchester City. But the biggest question is not only whether Maresca can continue Guardiola's legacy, it is whether anyone in football can ever match the money, success, and controversy that Pep Guardiola brought to Manchester City. When Pep Guardiola arrived at Manchester City in 2016, the club already had money, but Guardiola transformed that money into a football empire. During his years at City, Guardiola reportedly earned around £19.7 million per year, making him one of the highest-paid managers in world football. That breaks down to nearly £380,000 every single week. Over approximately 10 years at the club, Guardiola's total earnings from salary alone are estimated to have surpassed £190 million. Manchester City News. But Guardiola did not just cost Manchester City money, he generated unbelievable value for the club. Under his management, City became one of the richest football institutions on earth. Sponsorships exploded, global fan engagement increased massively, shirt sales multiplied, and Champions League success elevated the club's worldwide commercial power. Analysts estimate that Guardiola's era contributed billions in football revenue through trophies, television rights, sponsorship deals, and global branding. The club transformed from a wealthy English side into a global sports superpower during Guardiola's reign. And the numbers on the pitch are just as frightening. Guardiola turned Manchester City into a winning machine. Across his time at the club, he won multiple Premier League titles, domestic cups, and finally delivered the UEFA Champions League trophy that the owners desperately wanted. He recorded over 220 victories faster than any manager in Manchester City history, and eventually built one of the greatest winning dynasties English football has ever seen. Some reports now place his total trophy count at Manchester City between 15 and 20 major trophies depending on competitions counted. Manchester City FC. However, Guardiola's legacy has also been overshadowed by one of the biggest financial scandals in football history, the famous 115 charges against Manchester City. The Premier League accused Manchester City of allegedly breaching financial rules over multiple years, including accusations linked to sponsorship declarations and financial transparency. Throughout the controversy, Guardiola consistently defended the club publicly. He repeatedly stated that Manchester City believed they were innocent and insisted the club deserved the chance to defend itself properly. Guardiola never directly managed the legal case himself, but his role became political and emotional because he stood as the public face of the club during the investigation. He defended the players, defended the ownership, and constantly pushed the message that City's success came from hard work on the pitch. BBC. Now, with Guardiola potentially walking away, Manchester City appear ready to trust Enzo Maresca with the future of the empire. Maresca is not a random choice. Before this appointment, he worked under Guardiola as part of Manchester City's coaching structure and later became manager of Leicester City before moving to Chelsea. At Leicester City, Maresca reportedly earned around £1.5 million per year, but after moving to Chelsea, his salary jumped dramatically to approximately £4.5 million annually, excluding bonuses. Salary leaks? Now comes the real money move. If reports surrounding the Manchester City contract are accurate, Maresca's 3-year agreement could make him one of the highest-paid young managers in Europe. While exact figures are still emerging, football finance experts believe Manchester City could offer him a package worth between £8 million and £12 million per season, especially considering the pressure of replacing Guardiola. If that happens, Maresca could earn anywhere between £24 million and £36 million during the duration of his contract, excluding performance bonuses, trophy incentives, and sponsorship opportunities attached to Manchester City's global brand. And this is where the pressure becomes terrifying. Guardiola leaves behind more than trophies. He leaves behind expectations worth billions. Manchester City are no longer judged by winning top 4 finishes. They are judged by Champions Leagues, Premier League titles, global revenue, and football dominance. Every defeat under Maresca will be compared to Guardiola. Every transfer budget will be examined. Every tactical decision will be analyzed. And with the 115 charges still hanging over the club's reputation, Maresca may be walking into the most financially pressured managerial job in football. Because this is not just a football story anymore. This is a money story. Guardiola turned Manchester City into a machine that printed trophies and generated massive financial power across world football. Now the question is whether Enzo Maresca can protect that empire, or whether the Guardiola era was simply impossible to replace.